Funding requests. Basics. A sub-organization must apply for funding as a part of the parent organization's funding request. The organization's certified treasurer must be the one to submit this organization's funding request. The link to the funding request application will be on the Senate website under the Apply for Funding page. Student organizations must hold at least one fundraiser in order to request undergraduate Senate funding. An exception to this is that new student organizations are exempt from this requirement. Any student receiving payment for services must be pre-approved by the Student Life and Leadership Office. Just a note, items bought by student organizations cannot be funded retroactively. Here is a list of prohibited types of expenditures. These types of expenditures cannot be made from any undergraduate student government funding. This includes social events, political events, expenditures for a religious event, expenditures for an event or purchase made in the following fiscal year, expenditures made as a method of stockpiling resources, donations, food for consumption, firearms and weaponry. Of course, for this, refer to the Student Safety and Security Committee. Advertisements, websites for the purpose of advertising a student organization or containing information pertaining to said organization, ex-employees, individual gain, and of course, alcohol, tobacco, and illegal substances. Travel and lodging. For air travel, you must receive approval of the undergraduate government student treasurer and finance chair at least 4 weeks before the beginning of the conference or event. Undergraduate government funds will not cover more than 60% of air travel costs. For vehicle travel, undergraduate student government funds will cover 54 cents to a mile for trips up to 100 miles and 33 cents per mile for trips of 100 miles or more. For international travel, all funding for international travel and lodging requires approval of 2/3 of undergraduate Senate. Reimbursement requests for air travel must be submitted within 30 days to CUSO. This includes vehicle travel as well. Just a note, for the 2020 fall semester, travel is likely not going to be approved due to the COVID-19 restrictions. Lodging. For speakers, undergraduate student government funds cover $90 per speaker per night on the UNC campus. For student off-campus events, undergraduate Senate funds cover $70 per night per 4 students attending the event. Reimbursement requests for lodging must be submitted within 30 days of return to CUSO with the receipt from place of lodging. The receipt must be verified by the president of the organization involved. Registration fees and costume expenditures. For out-of-state registration fees, undergraduate Senate will fund no more than $75 per person per day of registration fees. Undergraduate Senate will fund more than $150 per person in total for registration fees for each event. If a registration fee includes the cost of meals and/or lodging, the fee shall be itemized so that fees, meals, and lodging are considered separately. As we know, meals cannot be funded with undergraduate Senate funds. Lodging fees have to follow the funding guidelines outlined in the student code and talked about earlier within this PowerPoint. For costume expenditures, undergraduate Senate will fund no more than $50 per performing member for the purpose of obtaining costumes and other clothing items for performances or related events. T-shirts are not considered costumes and will not be funded by undergraduate Senate. Just a note, costumes must be in standard size and not tailored for a student. Printing and publicity. Requests for printing jobs costing at least $100 must be accompanied by signed bids from at least 2 printers. The lowest bidder receives the printing job. Exceptions for this can only be made by the Finance Committee.
All paper printed using student fees must contain at least 30% of post-consumer recycled paper. This is a new change in the code and must be incorporated by all RSOs on campus. Exceptions must be approved by 2/3 of the undergraduate senate.
Undergraduate Senate can fund $25 per student organization per event for the public purpose of publicizing the event. Reimbursements cannot equal actual cost of publicity. Speaker fees. Expenditures exceeding $2,000 from undergraduate Senate funds for single speaker's honorarium, travel, and/or lodging shall require approval of the undergraduate student government treasurer. We have an Ermine clause, which means no current UNC-CH or UNC hospital employee, including professors, faculty, and staff, shall receive more than $500 from the student activities fee within the period of one fiscal year for any number of events or services. These expenses are including, but are not limited to, speaking fees / honorarium, lodging, travel, equipment, or reimbursements for miscellaneous expenditures. Speakers who are employees of accredited universities or colleges and their affiliation must be identified in the funding request. Just a note, for this fall 2020 semester, events have a cap of 25 people due to COVID-19 restrictions placed by the campus.